What's up guys, Jay here, and in this video I want to go over the 3 builds I use on my hunter for Spire of the Watcher. Now since we're getting it for another 2 weeks, I figured this would be a good time to throw out some builds out there that maybe you're not thinking about. So let's start with the first one, which I use for the entrance and on the actual climbing the spire portion. So this is my beginning build. This is what I start with, what I go with. This is kind of the build that I have just kept on the entire season. We're going to start with our exotic cloak. Now if you don't have this cloak, I would recommend using Gerfalcon's Halberg, because that is basically what we are using for this entire build. We're using Spirit of Inmost Light and Spirit of Gerfalcon. So you can bet we're going to have some void going on, and we're going to take a look at our prismatic here. We're going to be using our shadow shot for add clear and add control. We're going to be using our snare bomb for weakening. Now you can, if you're worried about damage, incoming damage, change this to threaded spike. It severs enemies, so it can be really good. These are interchangeable with this any build here. Definitely consider one of these two, whichever you're more comfortable with. I am addicted to grapple, so I keep grapple on at all times. Not only is it movement, not only can I create tangles, but it gets me out of sticky situations. We're going to keep on Winter's Shroud because we're going to be going in and out of ads, and Styler's Executioner to give us that invis whenever we kill something that's affected by a debuff. Our fragments are going to be Facet of Dawn, going to make us radiant. Facet of Protection, going to keep us resistant when we're around enemies. Facet of Devotion to buff our light transcendence energy. A Facet of Solitude to sever from precision hits, and Facet of Courage, which will make all of our light abilities do more damage, which we want. Now let's talk about weapons. So I have Tenacious here because, like I said, I use this build on a daily basis when I play Destiny for Nightfalls and all that kind of stuff. So right now I was messing around with New Land, so I don't have it equipped, but Piercing Sidearms is here, so that takes care of our anti-barrier, and Chill Clip takes care of unstops. So that's really why I keep Tenacious here. Other than that, it's just a really good rocket sidearm. Feel free to put on your Strand fusion rifle or whatever secondary you feel. Here is where you're gonna want something void. You want something void, or you're gonna want something with destabilizing rounds, which is gonna end up being void anyway. I like this bow. It hits hard. This is not the god roll that everybody wants to go for. I chose Successful Warm Up because I want to be able to shoot faster, and I felt like Dragonfly is just a little redundant, especially with all the void explosions we're going to be doing. So destabilizing rounds, Successful Warm Up. That's my choice. Definitely get something with destabilizing. Definitely get void, maybe repulsor brace if you're feeling like you want some overshields. Pick and choose, but definitely keep void because you're going to be getting volatile regardless of if you have destabilizing or not. Now that's because in our artifact we have volatile marksman. Rapid void precision hits and rapid void final weapon blows grant volatile rounds. So not only are you going to be getting that severing from hitting rapid hits, precision hits from our fragment, but you're also going to be getting volatile. This also pairs with Maligned Harvest, which causes your next instance of void weapon damage when you apply volatile to create a weakening burst, and you're going to have volatile up constantly because of not only volatile marksman, but Stylus Executioner and Spirit of Gerfalcon are going to constantly give you invis and volatile. So what heavy are we using? Again, add clear, corrective measure, best in class SMG, my opinion. Destabilizing rounds, one for all, just a machine gun for the workhorse of machine guns. Again, back to our artifact. We have Legend Incarnate, so when you do throw your super out, you're gonna overcharge your LMG. It's gonna benefit from volatile marksman. It's gonna benefit from Malign Harvest, all of those things. Also, Elemental Siphon here, not only kinetic weapon blows, but also weapons that match your super will create a elemental pickup. So we're rocking void, we're rocking void weapons. You're going to be creating those void pickups that are going to give you devour, keep you healthy, all that stuff. And this build is mainly the build I use all the time. It's the build I like taking into the beginning when you got to deal with all those ads. It's the build I like to take climbing the Spire when you are, again, you're mainly ad clearing, dealing with a few bosses, stuff like that. Again, take some anti-barrier if you're gonna be using this, since some of the bosses, there are hydras and they have barriers, but again, volatile gets through those, so you're perfect. So let's get into the next build, the build that I like to use for the Harpy boss. Okay, first Harpy boss build. Obviously, you can see we're rocking the Celestial Nighthawk. So if you see Nighthawk, you know we're going to be using Golden Gun. And that's exactly what we have here, Golden Gun. Now, I swapped from Winter Shroud to Ascension. Again, this is, I feel like this is going to be kind of whatever you want. I like Ascension on this part, mainly because I like the movement. I want to be able to jump, get out of the way, amplify, jolt, all that stuff. It's not really a big part of this build, mainly because we're focusing on boss damage, but it is nice whenever you need a quick get out. Again, grapple because I'm addicted, and the only fragment that changes is right here, Facet of Purpose. Picking up an orb of power grants you either bolt charge, restoration, frost armor, woven mail, or overshield based on the damage type of your super. So for our case, it's going to be restoration because we're rocking a solar super. Now, why is this important? This is important because an artifact mod boosts our super if we have a buff that matches our super type. So Facet of Purpose will give us restoration when we pick up an orb. Now, you're not always going to have access to an orb. So how are we going to get that buff? Right here. Facet of Dawn gives us a radiant when we get powered melee hits. So when you shoot at the eyes of the boss and he becomes weak, you're going to throw your snare bomb, weaken him, cast your super because you're going to get radiant from the hit. Now make sure that when you throw the snare bomb, you let it explode before you cast your super. You want to throw it, see the smoke cloud come out, cast your super, fire that golden gun, and it just does insane damage. Now Celestial already does crazy damage, but just to make sure, we're proccing limit break here. That's why you want to throw your snare bomb and get radiant, because it says casting a super while you're critically wounded or have an elemental buff matching your super element grants a period of increased super damage. So you can get radiant. Limit break's gonna buff your golden gun. You're gonna take a big ass shot of and take a big ass chunk of health out of that boss, and you're not done. You still got to go through the rest of the boss phase. So what are you going to use? The pride and joy of this season, this act, is Queen's Breaker, and this linear fusion is just a monster. Why is it a monster? Because of particle reconstruction. This buffs linear fusion, it buffs regular fusions, and if you have a team of 3 with Queen's Breaker and this perk, that boss stands no chance. It stands absolutely no chance. So you're going to pop your super, get that Goldie gun shot in, then just focus with Queen's Breaker. And if you have a team of 3 using this weapon, you should one phase. I've one phase before. If you don't, you're going to get it pretty low. Again, there are aspects of this that are going to give you volatile. So we still have a stylish here. We still have volatile marksman and malign harvest. So I run a SMG. Now this one has repulsive breath to keep me alive. The minotaurs are void shields, so this helps rip their shield off and then give me not only a overshield but some volatile and invis and all that stuff. Really good, really powerful. Try it out. Now let's get into the last build, the final boss build. Okay, so you made it to the final boss. This is the build that I use when fighting. Now, if you've been paying attention to Destiny and any YouTuber making kind of dungeon builds, you know that everybody is using 1K right now. 1K Voices is melting the final boss, and for good reason. Particle reconstruction is crazy. 1K damage is crazy. But if you're like me and you don't have 1K, what are you going to use? For me, the easiest thing to use is rockets. The boss runs in a straight line down the aisle. You can spam rockets, but we want max damage that we can. So I found that this for me works the best and does pretty good damage. Let's talk about our subclass. Well, let's talk about our cloak first. Spirit of Inmost Light and Star Eater. Now, if you don't have a exotic cloak and you have to choose a normal exotic, I definitely choose Star Eater, because that's going to give you more super damage. Now, why Star Eater? Because we're going to be using Silence and Squall. Now, you may be asking yourself, why not Shadow Shot to give us that debuff? Well, we're going to be using our Fusion Rifle to activate Particle, so that's going to be our main debuff. Also, I have Threaded Spectre here. Don't use this. I'm going to actually swap this to Snare Bomb, because I found that Snare Bomb works better when having to weaken things and keep you invis for Stylish Executioner. So where fragments are going to be the same as the last build. Still Faceted Purpose to try to give us that Frost Armor if we can get it. Still Faceted Dawn to give us Radiant, because even if we don't activate Limit Break, we're going to get Radiant, a little bit of a buff. Ascension for movement, Grapple for movement, Stylish to keep us invisible. Here's where it changes. Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath does a Scorch damage that then ignites whatever it's attached to. And when you get enough Scorch stacks and ignite enough times, this thing refills itself from reserves. Igniting nearby targets partially replenishes fuel. This weapon refills itself from reserves upon gaining maximum fuel. So what you want to do is ignite enough times that this thing reloads itself. How are you going to do that? Well, you're going to get max stacks of fuel from just getting to damage phase. But while you're in damage phase, you're going to want to get Transcendence from your Prismatic. So you want to do both light and darkness damage while you're doing this encounter, because your grenade is going to also add that scorching stacks, igniting further. Then you're going to weaken with your melee, and then you're going to use your fusion rifle, taking advantage of particle reconstruction to do damage. So the rotation is going to be right before the doors pop. You're going to pop Transcendence, throw your super. You're going to fire a Dragon's Breath rocket, throw your Transcendence grenade, and then use your fusion rifle for damage. And from there, you're going to repeat rocket, grenade, fusion, rocket, grenade, fusion until damage is over. Now you want to pay attention to the sound of Dragon's Breath reloading itself. It's like a click, or you can just time it. You know, you do it enough times, you know the cadence of the rocket. I still have trouble sometimes. You know, I do it a little too early or a little late. You play with it a little bit, get used to that timing, and this thing cooks. I don't have 1K, so I can't do the one phase, but this thing is easy to use. And it's really fun. I really like it. I get to use a rocket. I get to explode things. Try it out for yourself. And let me know if you enjoy it. Is there's a different build that you're enjoying that's not 1K? Because that's really what I'm looking for. Let me know in the comments below. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, don't forget to drop a sub.